Hey, what's up, wrestling fans? It's Joe Cronin. Guys, sorry there's no video right now, but this is the way we got to do it tonight, you know? But there's so much wrestling news that we got to talk about. But I want to remind you guys that it's December 1st, so we're 17 days away from being able to go live once again from the Joe Cronin Show. So I will be doing live videos again right here on Joe Cronin Show and not on my other YouTube channel, Corrupted Podcast, which will now only harbor the podcast of Corrupted highlights that we have, and you know, some other like kind of funny and weird clips that we do that are non-wrestling. Monetize this is tonight, so for all you guys looking to have a psychotic time tonight, get drunk and listen to us talk about shit and probably offend somebody, then tonight is your night. 11 p.m. Eastern Time. It will take place from my other YouTube channel until December 18th. So tonight, it's Monetize This on Corrupted Podcast YouTube channel, which will be in the description box down below. Also want to remind you that Saturday night, it's Corrupted Podcast Live for all you patrons on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. And then, of course, Sunday night, a special party for patrons at 10 p.m. Anybody who's a patron, even if you're only a $1 patron, you'll be involved in the live stream on Patreon on Sunday night at 10 p.m. Make sure you sign up now. It's $1 a month to get that and some other things. $5 to get almost everything. And then there's other tiers as well. So much wrestling news to get to. So we got to get to this. Dude, it's crazy. Lio Rush apparently not gone from WWE after he removed, you know, WWE and NXT and stuff from his Twitter. Word going around is that he is still there. There's no real issue whatsoever that we know of, despite his few, like, what I guess some people would call cryptic tweets. So right there, Lio Rush, rumor killer, that he is out of the company. We also got Matt Hardy posting that broken video yesterday. That was something to see. I will tell you what, when I heard the piano music in the background and then some of the delete chants, I'll tell you what, I started marking out all over again. I am fully invested in this broken gimmick. If you're somebody out there who never got into it, like, if you never gave it a chance, you just saw it from afar and said that's stupid, well then you don't understand. You know what I mean? It's if you're somebody though that actually gave it an honest watch and you don't like it and you didn't get it, I can understand that for sure. Because at first I was somebody who saw him doing it and I was like, man, his career is over. What is this? And then after 2 weeks of doing it, I was like, oh my God, this is genius. And then I started to love it. And you know what we did last year. And we bought TNA pay-per-views. So I had that funny feeling inside my stomach. I have never been more excited for a Monday Night Raw. I can't remember being this excited for Raw since maybe like the DX reunion. Of course, we got PG DX, but I didn't know that at the time, so I was just excited. But other than that, I would say like maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin or something from the late 90s. I mean, I am ready to full-on freak out when I see Matt Hardy come out there. If he comes out broken or whatever it's going to be. I would assume he's coming out broken because he did the deletes the other night, and now the YouTube videos and everything are launching everywhere. See, I thought they were going to be more methodical. I thought he would have another breakdown maybe in a bigger Raw. You know what I mean? I didn't think that he would already be broken now. You know, I thought maybe they were going to build this up until maybe someplace like Chicago. I don't know where they are at Raw for the next few weeks, but I know that I think the day after Christmas or Christmas is Raw in Chicago. I want to say December 26th, and that would probably be a hell of a pop from the crowd. I think this gimmick lended itself very well to when it started around the summertime, the last time, but this time looks like we're gonna see this start in the winter. But again, this is one of the most over characters that anyone's ever created, in my opinion, and especially to have created it in front of a 300 and, well, actually at the time TNA was drawing about 600,000 people watching it, and probably credit to this gimmick and the Hardys and everything all the TNA wrestlers are doing at the time when they had that really good locker room and lineup for about, I want to say for about 6 months. TNA had a great locker room, and maybe to them it was longer, but they had EC3, Eli Drake on the top of their game, The Hardys, Mike Bennett was doing his thing, and Mike Bennett was probably the bottom of the totem pole, but he was somebody that we thought could do even better, but he didn't really get anything major to do. But just they all fit in so well, and then Decay and everything, and just to see where it is now is hilariously terrible. So moving on from the Hardys, we're all excited about the Hardy Boys. Monday night, I can't wait. Well, rather Matt Hardy. Can't wait to see what Matt Hardy does. I hope they bring back the whole Brother Nero thing, and he blames his brother again. The one time I told you. You know what I mean? And he's just crazy again. I don't know. I don't want to get into it right now because whatever, we all get it. Let's move on to the next news story, which is that John Cena is being sued by Ford Motor Company, which is like bizarrely hilarious. And a lot of people saying it has to do with how bad things are in the WWE right now, that John Cena would sell his sports car for cash. I don't get it. Ford sues WWE star John Cena after he allegedly sold $460,000 sports car for cash. Ford Motor Company is not... Well, here it is. Let me try to figure out why this is going on. Sorry about my microphone rattling. Ford Motor Company is suing the actor and WWE superstar John Cena after he says he broke a contract not to resell a high-end sports car. According to a lawsuit filed this week, the breach of contract lawsuit filed in Federal District Court in Michigan alleged that John Cena, for many years one of the wrestling's biggest stars, blah, 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 resold a limited edition Ford GT that buyers must agree to keep for 2 years. Cena, who's 40 years old, paid about, why does that matter, I don't know, $460,000 for the 650 horsepower sports car in liquid blue, which was delivered to him around the end of September. The complaint said the theme of the car's interior design was listed as dark energy. Cena had agreed to the company's conditions about the car's purchase in an online application, as well as notarized release that he signed to purchase it, according to the suit. By the end of October, Cena had sold the car without the company's knowledge. After the company confronted him about it, Cena admitted to the sale and promised to make it right, but per the suit, he allegedly never did. Okay. Interesting. I mean, part of me wonders if, these companies, give these to these celebrities and put it in the fine print so that they can just sue the celebrity, so the celebrity never really knew about it, but technically they signed it, and it's kind of a scheme. Because why would John Cena knowingly sell this thing? But with that admission they talked about, maybe he did know what he was doing, or he just forgot. I mean, I thought Cena always comes off as somebody who's pretty smart to me, but maybe not in this case. I don't know what to say. This one's a very tough one. Either Cena just ignored the fine print, and I mean, I think we all know that certain things you can't just turn around and sell, especially when they're sort of gifted to you. It's kind of like the housing market in HUD. If you get assistance from the government to purchase a home, and you're a low-income family, and they give you a HUD home, you can't just turn around and sell the house in the next year. There's certain limitations, like you have to live in that area for 3 years to 5 years before you can sell the home. Limited edition stuff where you get it and you can't resell it. There's all kinds of legal things. So I would have to believe that he would be aware of that. So, I don't know, very weird situation, but very interesting. News about the next WWE 365 documentary. That's going to come out. That's cool. That's good to know because that Kevin Owens one was really cool. This is an absolute heartbreaker and a crazy one that I always thought was going to start. I honestly have been thinking about this over the last year to 2 years. I've been thinking about this happening because I said, this guy doesn't do many songs anymore. He just kind of oversees a lot of the stuff. Jim Johnston released from the WWE. This guy has been in the WWE since like 1985, 1986. And Jim has made all of the memorable songs. I mean, almost all of the memorable songs we all know. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, just on and on and on. I mean, I mean, I know Jimmy Hart had a big hand in things early days. I don't remember if Jake Roberts' theme was written by Hart or Johnston, but like he wrote almost everybody's. If you could think of a superstar before the year 2002, you know, 80% of those were written by him. Just iconic themes. You know, The Undertaker. I mean, just it goes on and on with him. And it's insane. He is a legend in the wrestling business. He has put that hair that stands up on the back of your neck or your head or your arms or your pubes or wherever we're talking about. I mean, how many people have experienced that feeling live when they hear someone's music or on TV? This guy is partly responsible for that. Mainly, hugely responsible for it. And he has been let go by the WWE, which, you know, he's probably making a lot of money. I mean, I don't know what he's making. I could be crazy. But I assume a guy who's been in the WWE for over 30 years, who is as highly valued as he was making a lot of money. And this kind of goes into the... this kind of adds to our belief that there's a major issue with WWE and with income and with revenue and with show sales being down. In my opinion, what we've seen over the last year and a half to 2 years, especially 3 years even, what we've seen here is been a slow decline, and now it's declining more. And in my opinion, we're going to feel the effects of this, and it started with Pyro, and it's going to go on. The pay-per-view count is down, and I think part of that is because some of the pay-per-views are honestly costing them more money than anything else. And so that's why they're trimming the pay-per-views down, because there's a certain point where, you know, supply and demand goes up, and you move more and you have more pay-per-views. But, you know, demand is down, very down, and to have more pay-per-views would hurt them. It would be better for them to just run a house show or not run that night. So that's a telltale sign. A guy like this is a telltale sign who may... I don't know Jim Johnson's contract. I'm assuming that he made over $100,000 with WWE a year, obviously. Maybe even, dare I say, $300,000 a year. If I had to bet something, I would say in between $150,000 and $300,000. There's a possibility that he makes more, like $400,000 or $500,000, but I'm going to say that he's probably around, you know, $150,000 to $300,000 a year. And so there's a salary right there's a wrestler and a half salary right there, probably for Jim, for his creative genius. And he's somebody that I will pursue very hard to get an interview with, because I just can't believe how iconic he is. And it's too bad that he had lost his job at this point, but I mean, I'm sure that he was approaching retirement at some point soon anyway. I'm just surprised that he had to be fired, or released rather, I suppose. I mean, whatever way you want to call it, WWE released him. I'm surprised that he did not leave on his own, that he wasn't someone that said, you know, I'm going to be retiring now. I don't know how old Jim is exactly. I think Jim is 58, but I don't know. I haven't even Wikipedia it, and I won't. Actually, you know what? Let's Wikipedia it right now. Let's find out how old Jim Johnson is, because it's seems like something I should probably do, right? I don't think it matters how old he is, really, but born in 1959. So that makes him almost 60, so I was right. So, you know, he's just done so many things for the WWE. I'm surprised he wasn't able to leave on his own. And the thing that gets me about this is, prior to 60 years old, I assume that does affects his... I assume he was going to get more of a bonus if he left in his 60s. You know what I mean? I don't know what his pension looks like, but a lot of times, you know, you make it to 60 and then you retire. But it looks like he's out the door before that. And this is unexpected, because, you know, he didn't want to leave. So you would think that a guy with this sort of dedication and everything to WWE, but now with WWE using more themes from CFO and other bands, like they've basically upgraded. I mean, you know, you got to give it to WWE, because I always said that when Jim is gone, you know, the music is going to get horrible. The music is going to be terrible because who's going to take Jim's place to write themes like this? You know what I mean? They've already lost Jimmy Hart. And boy, was I wrong. WWE knew exactly what they were doing. They went out and they modernized their music to guys like CFO, who have created themes like Nakamura's and Bobby Roode. And we've got Sasha Banks' theme and Kevin Owens' theme. And just theme after theme is good. AJ Styles is good. And none of those were Jim Johnson. So it tells you that, you know, they are committing to that direction. For a while I wondered why Jim was still there, because they just, everything that was coming out was from these guys, and I always thought that Jim Johnson was like a good overseer and a good guy for, you know, if they needed a couple tunes here or there that, you know, that aren't whatever modernized by CFO. But clearly, you know, CFO has been so good that that's the method that WWE is going to stick with young composers or young artists who, you know what I mean, are doing things more in the modern age. I mean, Jim, when you hear a Jim theme, it's like you know it's him. Like, you almost every time know it's him. It's amazing. But also, you know, it's run its course, I suppose, after all these years. But again, still surprising to me that they didn't come to Jim and say, you know, hey, you know, at this point we're gonna have to cut people and things like that. You know, would you like to just retire at this point? You know, that didn't happen though. You know, they released him, and it seems sudden too. I would think that they would want to. And will Jim ever get a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame? I think he should. I think he should almost immediately. He's been there over 30 years. That's the type of guy that needs to be in the Hall of Fame. That guy made iconic themes. It's incredible what he did. And I want to see him inducted by Vince. But I don't know what will happen with the way he's been released here or whatever. I know he works for corporate. It's not like he's, you know, a superstar and there's this big send-off or that there ever is. But, you know, there isn't for superstars. Sometimes they just get let go, and that's all there is to it. That's really all I wanted to talk about, guys, at this point, because Monetize This is tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on my other YouTube channel, Corrupted Podcast. Normally it takes place from this YouTube channel, but we can't go live until December 18th. And I want to tell you guys that all the Monetize This episodes that have taken place off this channel, I'm going to be trying to upload them here or re-upload them here so that it's in my playlist library on the Joe Cronin Show as well. Thank you guys very much. Also, sad news about VidMe. Apparently, VidMe is closing down. They didn't get the job done. Billion views, millions of views, tons of people. We'd hope to compete with YouTube. I knew people that ran that site. Obviously, they were really good to me, and I would have loved VidMe to become the #1 site on the internet because I knew the people that were doing it, and I would have had a great in to compete with Google. But they never got advertising. That was the thing that I think really it always comes down to. I don't think that people backed the videos like we wanted. You know, if I made a video and people could tip down below, you know, not a lot of people really tipped. And there was no advertising and subscriptions, so it really didn't work out. Patreon is much better. Patreon has been killing it for me, and that's just become the platform to go to be fundraised by my audience and by you guys and by everybody's audiences, is Patreon, or by live donations. So if you guys want to spread the love tonight with the donations, we'll be live on Monetize This with that, or become a patron for all the bonus content and everything. Again, we're going to be live on Patreon tomorrow night and on Sunday for the party. And anyway, I'll see you in a couple hours, guys, for Monetize This. Thanks for listening. And leave me some comments down below with what you think about this news. Plus, I'm going to be doing a WWE or WCW or ECW retro review Sunday. The poll is up on Patreon right now for free. Anybody can view the poll and vote on it. So go ahead and vote on it, and it will be available for $2 or more patrons Sunday. And we're having a party Sunday live for all patrons, live stream. So we're streaming every night, next 3 nights, including tonight for Monetize This. But that's free, so come on over and check it out on youtube.com/corruptedpodcast. I've babbled on like a crazy bastard, but it's because I'm so excited down there. Leave a comment down below what you think about all this, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hit me up on Twitter at RealJoeCronin.